Hey everybody, Danielle Hargenrader here, and today is not the normal interview day that I normally bring you. I'm not interviewing anybody for Unleash Your Inner Diabetes Dominator today. Today I'm here to bring you my recap of my experience at Master Lab in Orlando, Florida that just passed this past week. And I'm doing this because it was such an amazing experience, and I really want to share my experience with you guys, but also promote the idea that more people should come and do this next year. So what is Master Lab? Master Lab is a session that is put on by the Diabetes Hands Foundation that actually the tagline is to be a more effective advocate. Now, for me, advocating for diabetes awareness is a huge part of my life. And I think advocating simply means for anybody that you just have a desire to help people who live with diabetes to live more, let's say, easier to get the supplies that we need, just know that we're not alone, letting you all have a voice, us all have a voice, we all have a voice and we're not alone, and just advocating for awareness so people know that what to do with people who have diabetes, not to treat us like we're fragile pieces of glass, and not to ask us if we can eat cake, and just advocating for awareness. And so that's what Master Lab is. It was a session to teach us how to be more effective advocates, and it consisted of a day and a half of really awesome. First, the day was of speakers, which I'm going to do a quick recap of, and I don't know how I'm going to even come close to explaining how awesome all of these speakers were. And then the next day we had breakout sessions where we had the ability to choose between two different sessions that we wanted to kind of learn a little bit more about. So for me, what happened was with the Master Lab sessions was that I actually applied for a scholarship to go to this Master Lab sessions which leads into the Children with Diabetes Friends for Life conference, which I did not stay for this year because this was my first year and I had no real background information on it, but I can say without a doubt next year, one, that whether or not I win a scholarship, I will be going back to Master Lab, and I will also be going to the Friends for Life conference and staying for the whole thing, because I was very lucky to have the opportunity that after Master Lab ended, that my mom flew down to Florida and we went to Key Largo for a couple days, which I don't regret at all. We had a great time. But I do kind of feel like I missed out on a little bit of stuff at the Friends for Life conference, where you don't have to be a child with diabetes to really have an amazing, enriching experience where you're hanging out with your tribe, with your people, with everybody who has diabetes, friends, families, kids, adults. You see amazing sessions. There's lots of, depending on what you're interested in, if you wanted to learn more about controlling your CGM, or you want to learn more about the emotional fallout of diabetes, or it literally runs the gamut of anything and everything you could ever want to learn more about when it comes to living with diabetes in an environment where you're just hanging out with other people with diabetes who want to learn the same things. So back to Master Lab again. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, but as my husband always says, I have a very hard time keeping things short. So I'm going to do my best. But so Master Lab for me, and what I'll do is below this video, I'm going to put the link that I went to apply for the scholarship. So, and I highly encourage, I'm sure that the Diabetes Hands Foundation is going to be doing the same thing next year, where they're going to be offering a number of scholarships. And I highly encourage that if you're interested in being an advocate for diabetes, or just even getting started in the world of advocacy, you don't even have to have an active blog or, things like that. You can just have a very strong desire to do something, to have your voice heard, to influence the diabetes community in some way. And this would be a great jump off point for a new advocate, or an amazing whole session for somebody who's been in advocacy for years and just wants to keep getting better and being more effective at doing what they're doing. So I'll put that link underneath. So I first have to thank Melissa Lee, who is the interim executive director of the Diabetes Hands Foundation, because she's amazing. She just, not only did she kind of MC this whole thing, she introduced all the speakers and she did the opening remarks, but behind the scenes, she just kind of worked her butt off to make this go smoothly. And it couldn't, in my opinion, as an attendee, it couldn't have gone more smoothly. It was a great experience, and she did an awesome job, as well as Mike Lawson, who is the head, is the head of experience at 2 Diabetes, which basically just means he does a lot of cool stuff. He designs all the graphics and all the logos, but he also makes sure that people who are at these events have a great time and are happy. And he's just such a, I don't know, one of the kindest guys I've ever met, and he will just bend over backwards to make sure you're having a great time. So he did an amazing job. And also Emily Coles, who is the, I think, director of communities at Diabetes Hands Foundation, and she runs 2diabetes.org and es2diabetes.org, and she just, again, these people that, you know, are selfless and come out and do all this so that we all can learn and have a positive, uplifting learning environment. My heartfelt thanks goes out to all of you, and I'm sure I'm missing other people, but these were the three were kind of at the forefront of kind of making sure that this whole event was running smoothly. So we really had a ton of awesome speakers. We learned everything from being more effective as far as using hashtags in social media, or we learned from an amazing speaker, Maria Saplina, I hope I'm saying that right, or Marina Saplina, sorry, who was just a breath of fresh air, who she is the founder of the Beaties organization. So she kind of went up and taught us how to use our emotions to deal with diabetes, and not just diabetes, but any problem that we might, or thing that we perceive to be a problem in our lives, using our emotions, our actions, and using, you know, just kind of a drama approach to dealing with the emotional side of diabetes, which in my opinion, and I've blogged about this before, does not get addressed nearly often enough, and a lot of times even at diagnosis it won't get addressed at all. So she really helped us have a way to deal, or help other people deal with the emotional fallout of living with diabetes. And I'm just glancing down here because we had so many great people speaking. We learned about advocating for a cause. We learned about, you know, how to get presenting yourself on social media. So if you're kind of new, or even if you're not new and you're afraid to get behind a camera or contact your local media organization, we learned all about how the best ways to go about doing that. We learned about tons of stuff about legislature, about the government side of diabetes, because we're really, as 29 million people in the world that are living with in America that are living with diabetes, we have probably the ability to have some of the strongest voices in any disease, you know, realm, but we don't, because we're not coming together as one. So we, as type 1s and type 2s, kind of need to hash out the BS of, you know, well, this one's worse and this is different. And it's like, yes, some things are different and some things are the same. But here the thing is that the louder we can be together, the more things that are going to change for the better for both of us. So it's very, so this is another thing I wanted to put, and I'm going to put this link down below as well, DPAC. And I actually want to make sure I'm giving the right link, but I'm going to give it as well. So this is, luckily, I got to see some good friends that I haven't actually seen in a while, and also friends that I've met through interviews that I've never actually met in person. So DPAC is this amazing, hold on, I'm going to give you the exact right thing, because you know what, this is so important, and I'm sorry, this is real life, guys. I don't have this planned out, and that's what I always say when I do this. So it's Diabetes Advocacy. So Diabetes Patient Advocacy Coalition, and again, I'm going to put the link down here, but I can't urge you enough that even if you don't want to be an advocate, even if advocacy is not something that you're super interested in, this coalition is a way that Christelle Aprigliano, who is the founder of the Diabetes Unconference and also the writer of the blog The Perfect D, I actually was lucky enough to attend the first ever Diabetes Unconference back in March, and she is just such an amazing, passionate human being that is just such an inspiration. And her and Bennett Dunlap, who also was a facilitator at the first ever Diabetes Unconference, they created this website. Now, for us, it's not easy. We think about, oh, well, we want to help, but we don't know, you know, who's our state representative and how would I write him a letter? And that's all so much work. What they've done is they've created a website where it's literally click, you put in your zip code or your address, it tells you your state legislator, you click on it, the letter is already written for you, you send it in, and you have therefore voiced your opinion on, you know, things like Medicare, allowing people who are 65 and older to get CGMs, which is not happening right now, which is a huge problem. You know, people getting the supplies that they need to, you know, testing accurately and things like that. These are things that individuals like us might not think that if we have one voice makes a difference, but it does. It makes a huge difference. And the more squeaky our wheel becomes, the more likely that we are going to be able to kind of get the oil that we need. So I urge you, follow that link, fill out that send the letters to your state and local representatives and kind of have your voice heard, and share this on your social media as well, because you don't have to be a person with diabetes to write to the state senator or state representative. Anybody that writes counts, and we need as many voices as we possibly can on our side. So I kind of went off on a tangent there, but that was just a really important part of it for me, and I'm recapping my experience. So that was super important for me. And then that was the second day. We had breakout sessions, and we just really, for me, the best part was not only just learning about how to be a better advocate, but really solidifying more relationships with people in the community that have the same desires as I do, which is to come together as a group, as a team, to make us stronger for the greater good of the diabetes community. And for me, I had interviewed Asha Brown, who's the founder of We Are Diabetes, and her and I kind of clicked. And then we just happened to decide that we were going to wake up on the first morning and walk for an hour at 6 a.m. before the session started. So that for me was a huge highlight. I love her. She's an amazing person, and you definitely support We Are Diabetes. And I'll put that link down below as well. And actually, I'm going to write this down so I don't forget to put the links down, because I want you all to be able to support these awesome organizations that these are nonprofit organizations that need our help and our support. I'm trying to think of other things. I just had an amazing time meeting people that I haven't met before. My friend Edward Feeder, who is the founder of The Faces of Diabetes, which is a book. He's a photographer, a very talented photographer, by the way. He has a book coming out. He already has a Kickstarter campaign that was successful for funding it. And I get to hang out and meet him. And, I get to meet Mindy, who runs the College Diabetes Network, and just all of these cool people who are, just like you, just like me. We all live with diabetes. We all have the same struggles and the same day-to-day routines. Yeah, we all have to change pump sites and give manual daily injections, and we all have CGMs or testing our, all of our fingers are calloused, and, all of us have glucose in our bags. Like, we all go through the same thing, and we all want to help everybody else who lives with diabetes to have a more struggle-free life. And that's the thing, is that if you think for 1 second that your voice doesn't matter, let me tell you this right now. There are enough of us out there with diabetes that need help, that every voice that comes on to kind of give us strength, to give us character, to give us a new perspective, whatever your passion is, your passion combined with diabetes advocacy could change, and probably will change, the lives of many people who might follow you on social media or blogs or whatever it is, the video blogs that you might end up doing. So for me, my big takeaway is be an advocate, have a voice. Don't be shy. Go say something out there, put your voice out there, say what's important to you, and you know what? Just be yourself. And know for a fact, no matter what else you know, that you are not alone when you're living with diabetes. We are a great diabetes online community. You can go to 2diabetes.org anytime, have a conversation with anybody you want with diabetes about any topic you might be wanting to have. We're all out there. Go read tons of blogs. Go kind of get inspiration from people out there, because we're out there. We want to hear from you. And Master Lab is just an amazing way to get some more information and kind of ammo for that firing that you need to do out into the social media kind of diabetes online community world. And other than the fact that I kind of wish that I had known how cool that the Children with Diabetes Friends for Life conference was going to be, that followed the Master Lab, and I would have definitely stayed for that. But otherwise, it was an amazing time. I had such a good time and a great experience, and I 100% for sure will be going back next year, scholarship or no, and I will be staying for the whole thing. So I hope this kind of gave you some inspiration and added some value to your life about advocacy, and maybe what you might want to do next year. Come to Orlando, have a good time, meet some really cool people, and just be around people who are just like you, wanting to be better, help other people be better, and live a stronger, healthier life with diabetes. Okay, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video blog.